Hello, people. Welcome to episode 23 of the D&D Football Factory Podcast. This is a special edition. We're just going to be looking at the Champions League groups now that they've concluded. Put some predictions to the extent that we can, obviously, for the knockout stages. But obviously, the draw hasn't taken place yet. I'm Double D. You know me. I'm here.
D-man in the place. Big up.
Big Sam, I'm here.
Big Sam looks really concerned about something. Don't worry, Sam. Don't worry about Premier League football. We qualified from our Champions League group. It's cool.
We'll get the Premier League on the weekend, man.
Yeah. So have some escapism. This is your escapism until we go back into the cauldron and get cooked by D-Man on Saturday. You get me? Remember, you can always catch us in our usual slot on a Saturday morning, 10 a.m. on Top FM 95.5 FM with the Footy on Top show. That's 10 a.m. to midday. But let's get episode 23 kicked off, guys. Group A. Napoli and Liverpool qualified from it. Mm-hmm. I suppose probably the shock. Look, D-Man's grinning already. The shock here was probably the order that it finished in. I think we all thought that Liverpool would win the group, but Napoli have been the best, on form, best team in Europe at the moment.
Yeah.
Winning game after game, goals from all over the pitch. Kvaratskhelia is like a snip at £9 million, already being heavily linked to the likes of Newcastle and Liverpool, and they'll probably
Newcastle.
Oh, D, shut up, man.
You already got
even 5 minutes in, man. Jesus, shut up.
Why? I saw a cheeky little nutmeg on the highlights. I think, okay.
Being heavily linked. Look,
Newcastle.
But before we get to those teams that have qualified, can we have a moment of silence for Rangers, please?
Nah, they need to get both barrels, bro. Yeah.
Was it a minus 20 goal difference in the
minus 20, bro. How many goals did they score? 2 or something like that.
I think they scored 2. No, it might be more. Was it 2 or 3? Because obviously they scored against us.
They got the one against us, yeah.
I don't know. Bro,
yeah, 2. They got 2. They scored 2.
2 goals. Yeah.
You can see the 22.
From Scottish football. We know Scottish football is the level of quality below par, but Rangers spent how long outside the Champions League and they come in and embarrass themselves like that? Not even a single. How many points did they get? 0.
They didn't get anything. They didn't win any games.
No points. They lost all their 6 games.
You can't go to the Champions League and not take a single point. Yeah? You should be banned for the next couple of seasons, but there's no point in you not being there. Celtic were banned, but Rangers, nah. There's no excuse. Inexperienced, no. You can at least take a point at home at Ibrox. It's meant to be, the atmosphere and blah blah. What team in England, would finish top 6 or top 4, like surprisingly, go Champions League and not get a single point in the Champions League. But minnows like Maccabi High for them, man, they get points out there.
Come on, Maccabi scored a couple against as many goals as Rangers scored in their group against PSG. They made the game with PSG interesting.
Right. What other team in the Champions League finished on 0 points, bro? Yeah, there's no excuse for finishing with 0 points and scoring 2 goals. Now you're embarrassing, bro. You're embarrassing. Nothing. They're embarrassment. Well, I'm upset for their fans, bro. They're an embarrassment.
Right,
why are you in the Champions League? Yeah, it should just be the winner, and then whoever finishes second goes straight to Europa Conference, bro. They
earned the right to be there by making their comeback in the qualifiers against Union, because Union beat them at home, and then Rangers turned it around with a 3-0 winning it. So they earned the right. But
you went through all of that just to embarrass yourself on the main stage. Okay.
It was a shambles. And the defeatist talk from Van Bronckhorst didn't really help, talking about how much money that you need to compete, etc. And realistically, he's basically saying we shouldn't be here, type of thing. And I don't
guarantee you, if Forest were in the Champions League, they come back with at least 3 Champions League goals, at least. Yeah, maybe not a point, but at least more than 2 goals. Bro. Come on, man. There's no excuse. We could get a team together, go to Europe and score at least more than 2 goals. That's a shambles. That is a shambles. Wasting, taking up unnecessary space, bro. That's what they're doing. Waste of space.
But right to the qualified teams, Sammy. What? Look, we don't know who they're going to get yet.
No.
Obviously, we'll get to PSG's group later. I hope to them finishing second. We don't know, but will finishing second in the group, is it really going to affect Liverpool?
I don't think it matters. The way we've been playing, the way we've been, we haven't. Okay, fair enough. Europe, we've gotten our act together, and we've done well enough to get second place. The first game against Napoli didn't help us. They absolutely battered us in Naples. I don't think it matters. I really don't think it matters. I think even if we managed to come first, and yes, we finished second, I think Liverpool are in a bit of a mess right now. And
a bit.
It's an understatement. Sorry, a big mess. You know.
Hold on. The last time you finished second, did you win the Champions League or something? Last time you finished second in your group, you actually won it. Am I right?
Well, even if that may be, I'm not so sure. Even if that may be,
you're probably correct because we were in it for a little piece. You're probably correct. So
yeah.
And you'll draw Porto and Benfica in the next round. Any one of them two minnows. That brown paper bag money you got.
With our luck,
yeah.
With our luck, probably get someone like Bayern or something like that. Or
You're not getting no big guns in the next round.
We
This is Liverpool, bro.
We could
find a way to get the weakest teams out of them.
We could beat Bayern. Right. So Sam, who would you like out of Porto, Bayern, Real Madrid, or Benfica?
Porto.
Oh, funny that.
Yeah.
That's who you're gonna get. That's how you're gonna get.
That's who we've had.
But you don't want no piece of Benfica?
Either way, you're slapping both of those teams.
You know what's gonna happen. I think no, those obviously we've looked horrible in some leagues. I don't think we could actually beat Bayern. I want no part of Real Madrid. Yeah, I want no part of, because I think Liverpool would have rejuvenated themselves by then. Whether or not that will be enough in league to get them back in the Champions League, I don't know. Yeah. The Champions League spots, I don't know. But I think we would have had players back from injury then, because that would be February, and they'd be okay. I want no part of Real Madrid though. Real Madrid have got our number. We could outplay them in both legs and we'll still get knocked out. I want no piece of them. Was my Spanish team, but I've grown, obviously, because of the Champions League defeats to start to despise them, in the last few years. You know what I'm saying? But did you think, with how bad Liverpool and inconsistent they've been in the league, did you think that they would come back and win all their 5 remaining group games after that heavy defeat to Napoli?
To be honest, I didn't think, given how bad you lot were in Naples and your league form. Obviously, I knew Duffy Rangers both times. The surprising result for me was how convincing you slapped Ajax away from home. So,
but that started off. They should have gone before we got into our groove. They should have been 2 up before we started playing our football. I mean,
but by the time you played them, to be fair, you've done enough against is it Napoli and Rangers beforehand, wasn't it?
No, Napoli was our last game still.
Oh, sorry, not Napoli, sorry. What am I talking about? Rangers beforehand. And to be fair, it became a bit of a trend that you were poor in the league, but you were turning up in Europe. So after the first game, no. But as the games went on, it's no surprise that you won the last 5. And to be fair, you lot have got European pedigree. Like, I honestly believe that Klopp now he's not down tools in the league, but his main focus now is the Champions League, because he knows, and getting top 4 obviously, because he knows he can't win the Premier League now.
Yeah.
So I think the main focus now will be.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
What?
What do you mean you can't win Prem?
Brother, that went weeks ago, bro. That would be wicked.
Come on, bro. Can't you just the sarcasm, bro? I don't even know if we'll get champs.
Nah. But to be fair, no one apart from Real Madrid, I don't think anyone fancies playing you lot, especially over 2 legs. So
Yeah.
you still got that Anfield nights under the lights and stuff like that. So yeah, surprising to begin with after the 4-1 defeat, but not surprising if you look at it. Really, this is Liverpool at the end of the day in the Champions League. So yeah,
The win was I think a nice little morale boost. Obviously, we're still missing several several players. We're not going to get them back until after the World Cup, with obviously there only being 2 more game weeks before the World Cup. But it's one of those ones where we needed that to keep a clean sheet as well, because obviously we've been struggling to keep clean sheets at the back. And I don't know where Sam's gone. We've been struggling to keep clean sheets at the back. And obviously I can't believe that they really thought that Liverpool could go and beat them by 4 clear goals. So I wasn't sure how come they went so strong. So that's why I think it was a bit of a morale boost for us,
right.
because they went stronger than we expected. They did well. They had they took the ball. They thought they'd taken the lead. Ostergaard, and then obviously it's so tight, isn't it? But they had to get out that 3D image that if they had in the Prem, it would save a lot of the offside goals, obviously, for them to be off. But now did well. 2 scrappy goals. Basically, Van Dijk winning headers from corners is what's got it done. Then we scrambled the ball over the line. But some of the football was better, and we looked tighter and more. We just played with more sense. Whether that's because it was Canate at the back rather than Gomez, who bar Man City, Gomez has struggled. But also as well, I don't know if how much of the game you saw. Trent, I would assume, Trent's been labouring since he's come back from the injuries. I don't know why he was thrown in there earlier, if that's the case. But whether or not it was Klopp, all the fact that he's not at full fitness, Trent was not bombing on forward as much. And because of that, that meant that we could keep a tighter line.
Yeah.
At the back, which is probably why Napoli didn't worry us as much, because look, any space given to Kavicka, and then even when Lozano came on, I was shook. We could have got cooked, bro. So they had played with sense. I don't know whether or not they'll continue that on for the Tottenham game. No Son, obviously, but we still know, just in case whether it's Moro comes to whatever, what Tottenham could do on the counter attack. But that should be what we stick to do in bigger games. Otherwise, teams are going to continue to go through. But Canate did well, some minutes under his belt, and obviously, if he's fit enough, then get him in there instead of Gomez. But to be honest, Gomez only played because Canate got injured anyway, because we saw at the back of the last season he worked his way to be the main partner for him. And then when he did it, be Matip. But obviously, Pacey, he's getting better on the ball with every game. Canate heads it well, tackle well, learnt the line quite well after a shaky start last season. So we'll see. We'll see what Liverpool can do there. So let's go to Group B, guys. Porto and Club Brugge have gone through. Atletico Madrid bottom, which means not even Europa League football for Simeone. And I know fans of the likes of Arsenal and United will be happy because Atletico have won that competition 3 times in the last 10, 11 years or so, right? One before Simeone came in, and Simeone's got 2. I'm a bit disappointed Club Brugge never won the group here, but Porto, after a slow start, have been ruthless. Like Taremi getting goals and whatnot. They've done their thing. It should be interesting. And it'll be Bruges. People think, Bruges easy whipping boys, but they play some good passing football. And I don't know what's got into Mignolet, but Mignolet has been saving everything. Like the amount of saves and what he's breaking records all over the gap because he kept a clean sheet in their first 4 games.
How long has Simeone got, man? Because has he reached the end of the tunnel now? Has he gone as far as he could take them? Because To finish bottom of that group is an embarrassment.
It's mad.
Yeah? They're not winning La Liga. They didn't even come close to winning it this year. They seem to have all sorts of internal problems. Players are not performing. I think I've heard they put 4 players up on the transfer market now, including now Felix. And Thomas Lamar, his name is. Well, they've never been renowned for playing good, attractive football. You know, and when he's at his best when he's playing anti-football, very defensive football. Like, is enough? Is it time to move on? Like, what's the problem?
He's probably a case of he's got a good relationship with the owners, obviously, and he's got credit in the bank. League title, you get me? 2 league titles, 2 Champions League finals, 2 Europa Leagues, as I was just saying, credit in the bank. So I think they'd have to finish outside the top 4 for them to even consider it. And also, so he's the highest paid manager still, isn't he?
I was about to say, bro.
So that compensation probably high. So that probably he's moving like Brendan Rodgers right about now. You can't sack me. You think you can do this to me? Yeah, me. So probably not. But yeah, them finishing bottom, I never saw that. When we did our predictions on the show before the season started, I said that they'd go through in this group with Porto. But don't get twisted, Leverkusen, because though their game, Bruges and Leverkusen's game finished 0-0, the last group game, saw anything. It was actually a really good game end to end. If it wasn't for Mignolet, then obviously Leverkusen would scored a couple.
So Leverkusen's out of the Champions League.
Europa.
Yarbi didn't want to come to us because he wanted Champions League football. So we say in January, Yarbi comes to Newcastle to buy back up to.
Even Hudson Odoi linking up all right. You get me? Odoi just slipped in there like he's been at Leverkusen for donkeys. But Moussa Diaby, look, this is what I'm shook of if Newcastle do overachieve this season in terms of league position, because they have the P to go up. This is why some of their fans were annoyed about this Nkunku thing, which I think needs to be investigated, because I never heard of someone doing a medical a year before they join the club, but it is what it is, right? But they could get a Diaby or whoever to add in, and they can slot those pieces in, and still, even if it costs, like they paid what, 57 was it for Isak? Usually they pay 60 or million. In terms of what the market is paying, that is still not ridiculous, because they've got the P. That's still not a ridiculous price that they'd be paying. But so I don't think anyone will necessarily want Leverkusen in the Europa. But yeah, I really wanted Bruges to win this group, but even them just qualifying is an achievement, because they lost to Ketelaere, their young talent, to AC Milan. They've obviously still got Hans Vanaken there. As I said, Mignolet's been in inspired form, and they've just done a job. They won their first 4 group games, and everyone was like, "What the hell is going on here?" But let's see, we'll rule that penalty missed by Carrasco.
Oh yeah, that was a mad game.
And then was it Saul? Was it Neguez hit the bar, and then it got cleared? Absolute madness.
Crazy ending.
Absolute madness. But yeah, but you're always going to get one team that causes a shock. But obviously, no one expected that letting win in bottom. If anyone bet on that, they would have won a lot of money. But now credit to Porto as well, because Porto and Benfica have lost so many players, especially Porto. So to still top your group, even them qualifying was an achievement in itself. But to still top your group as well, you got to give it to them, man. Sammy, what you saying?
No, I was saying with regards to what's it? Sorry, my phone went off. With regards to Simeone, it kind of reminds me of when Wenger was at Arsenal, and as long as Arsene Wenger was meeting the minimal requirement, which was qualified for top 4, he was okay. And then when that stopped happening, that's when people started to look at him and say, "Nah." With Simeone, you have to remember that he's had players like Godin, who's since left. Luis Suarez was there for about a season and a bit, and his contribution was quite huge because they won the title due to the amount of goals that he scored. But now with the players that they have there, I mean, Thomas Lamar is still there. Who else still there? Carrasco. João Felix has been rumored to want to leave as well. He wants to come to Liverpool apparently. Was photographed with some of our players apparently.
Where did you read that, bro? With
It's out there. But you know what our Liverpool group is like. But yeah. I mean, time will tell. Time will tell. He's meeting the minimum requirement, which is qualifying for the Champions League. And yes, he has credit in the bank from 2 league titles, and he was a twice runner-up in the Champions League.
Yeah,
only once losing out to Madrid. So yeah, but hold tight, Porto and Club Brugge. Club Brugge also, I remember from a few seasons ago, they beat Madrid in one of the group games, convincingly.
Yep, Emmanuel Dennis.
Yeah.
With 2 of the worst Champions League goals you'll see. But it is what it is.
But it is, yeah. But yeah, man. No, credit to both those teams.
Right, D, you're going to start this one because I know you're disappointed by it. Group C, I said Bayern and Inter would go through, and you said Bayern and Barca, but Barca going into the Champions. Oh goodness me, coming out of the Champions League, going into the Europa League, and also as well the shocking news earlier that Gerard Piqué is retiring, and not even at the end of the season, he's retiring this weekend.
Listen, the club's in disarray, bro. Like, first of all, they're moving like Nottingham Forest and they're bringing all them players in and expecting them to gel at once. This is a nonsense. He probably don't even know his strongest lineup. Remember Rafinha? Where is he, bro? Yeah. Apparently the man he's bossing in training, but he can't do it on a match day. Like, I just don't think they have a clear direction. I think it's showing in Europe. In the league, I think they're top of the league now, but you can't go into Champions League in a state like that and expect to do anything. I thought they would have enough to qualify because I believe Inter are quite poor, but credit to Inter, they've got the job done. Barca, I think, who did they beat? Just the bottom team, innit? Is that the only ones they beat in the group stages?
Prison, yeah.
They ain't won no games either.
You know what I mean? So they failed to beat the other 2. Bayern, I can accept, but Inter Milan at home, you should be putting them away. I don't care what you say. But Lewandowski in Europa League is a nonsense, bro. It's a nonsense. But credit to Bayern, credit to Inter. Obviously, Bayern top in the group, Inter going through a second. Is it going to get any better for Barca? I don't think.
This guy.
You know what I mean? They're not going to win Europa League. The man's coming out saying like that the La Liga is as strong as the Prem. Like, maybe he's the problem, but maybe he's just delusional in aspects and he's out of his depth. I don't know, but time will tell. I've got faith in him to get it right, but at the moment they seem still to be a mess from top to bottom, and it's translating from the boardroom to the pitch, bro. So
did they win Europa?
No, they're not winning Europa, bro. Like, they're probably favourites to do it, but they'll go to like the quarters of the semis and do a nonsense to get knocked out again, bro. I just got no faith in them. Like, nah, I think they're bread and butter the league. They want to win the league, so Europa, nah, I don't see it happening.
Bad result, no. But Inter have surprised a few people, but obviously that crazy draw that Barca and Inter had in game week 5 as well, that 3-3 draw. But we all expected Bayern to win this group. They've had a few poor results in the league, and not as many teams look threatened by them in Bundesliga. Obviously, we know they'll still come through and win it. The likes of Union Berlin and Freiburg are unlikely to maintain their challenge. But have Bayern got enough there, Sammy, to go and win the competition?
Yeah, I think the thing about Bayern Munich was the Lewandowski thing. For him to leave, would they be the same as they were? Because he was what you could say was the main goal scorer and the main breadwinner in terms of their success. But acquiring Sadio Mane has helped them. Maybe not necessarily in the league, but in the Champions League, they look strong. And dare I say, they're the favourites to win it. A lot of people said Manchester City at the beginning.
No, City will still be favourites.
Yeah. Oh, seriously?
Yeah, they always have City favourites every year, and they've got Haaland, bro, so I can't see them not.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, I mean, Bayern Munich are who they are. They're a force in Europe. They always have been. But they'll be in the advanced stages for sure, absolutely.
Right, so let's go to Group D. So if we've got who we think coming joining, then great timing. This group was crazy. The first place in this group changed like about 6 or 7 times during the match. It was changing. But in the end, with a last-minute goal from Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Tottenham won 2-1 away at Marseille, coming from behind after D-Man's former player, Chancellor Mbemba, gave Marseille the lead. But obviously, you saw Kolasinac missing a headed chance that a lot of people were angry about, right? Well, obviously, if you're not a Spurs fan, obviously. So Spurs got over the hurdle and topped their group, despite that last-minute goal being disallowed against Sporting Lisbon at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Regardless of how they did it, Tottenham have won the group, right? Which means Conte getting a monkey off his back. What can they do? Anything? How far can they get?
Well, it depends on who their next opponents will be, because I think they could still get a favourable draw. But the best Tottenham can hope for, in my opinion, is quarterfinals, and I think they'll get embarrassed because, listen, I've been asking for weeks now. The way Tottenham keeps scraping through results and that, is it a sign of a good team playing badly and getting results, or is this them for the season? I now think this is them for the season, bro. They don't know how to play good football anymore, bro. Yeah, and it's they went to Marseille, and I think they had like 4 right backs on the bench, and they played. I can't remember who they played at right back. Some nonsense, bro. And they sat back for 45 minutes.
Yeah,
tried to hit Marseille on the break. What is that?
No one had a good word to say about that first half. Nobody.
Bro, it's like they need to go a goal down before they react, bro. In every game, they're not only embarrassing to watch, they're boring to watch.
Yeah.
But they're scraping through by the skin of their teeth in every game that they win. Surely the players like Harry Kane and that can't be happy with football like that, and you're gonna get found out. Like, this is a time where good footballing teams are going to go further in the competition. Good footballing teams are going to win the league. Spurs ain't winning the league. Spurs ain't winning the Champions League. Conte doesn't know how to succeed in Europe anyway. Like, we're just waiting for them to get knocked out. Like, I just don't see any way, shape, or form how they can progress further than the quarterfinals in this competition. And you know, if they get a hard draw in the next round, they're gonna go out. But I think they'll get a favourable one and get to the next round and get knocked out after that. Nothing in me thinks they can be the surprise package in this year. I just don't see. And even if they could get knocked out by Mino, bro, they're just not. They're not serious. They're relying on magic from Harry Kane and Son, who's out for a bit anyway. But
yeah, that was a bad, nasty injury.
And I hope he waits to the World Cup as well. Yeah. But it's just, yeah, you can be happy that you got through, but you've got to have concerns about the manner of how you got through. Like, if what's his name had put that head away in the dying seconds, Kolasinac, bro.
Yeah.
Completely different story. Like, it's a nonsense. It's a nonsense. But they're through in it, so you have to hold their hands up and say, you know, well done for getting through. But you can't think it's sustainable. You can't.
They were as low as third at a stage and then worked their way back up to first. It was absolute madness because obviously Frankfurt did their job. Now, Sammy, Tottenham could get Bruges, Inter, AC Milan, Leipzig, Borussia Dortmund, or Paris Saint-Germain. Who do you generally think that they could beat out of those teams?
It's a problem because all those teams are a problem. You know, with the way Spurs have been this season, even if you look at the two games against Lisbon, they were outplayed for most of the minutes in those games. They lost the first leg, lost the first game, and then I think they drew the second. And they weren't great. You know, yes, they did well to win the group and all that, but and I always say that the joke with regards to Spurs being in the Champions League as opposed to Arsenal is that they'll try and win it, and they will try, but how they go about it, like D-Man said, is another thing. Fans aren't happy, they're getting the results, and this, yes, has put a smile on their faces, but it's just delaying the inevitable. It doesn't matter out of those, maybe possibly Bruges, maybe, but they're a problem as well. So I honestly don't know. I think this is tough. Whoever they get out of those teams.
Do you think they could beat any of those teams? Bruges, Inter, AC Milan, Leipzig, Dortmund, Paris Saint-Germain.
Okay, the team that I don't think they can beat PSG. I think as Jekyll and Hyde as Dortmund are, I think Dortmund will deal with them. Leipzig would be close. The two Italian teams now, I think that'll be interesting. I think they could probably beat Inter, but I don't think they can beat AC. I don't think they could beat AC. I think it'll be close, but I don't think they'll beat AC. And Bruges, all right, because it's Bruges, yeah. But I reckon they'll probably, if they get Bruges, I think Bruges could surprise them, bro. I think Bruges could surprise them. So
definitely.
I just have no faith that. I don't know. I just have no faith in their ability to get through these games. I think most of them teams that you just mentioned would give them a very good game. Some of them slap them. PSG would slap them. Yeah. Most would give them. I don't know. I couldn't be confident Tottenham would beat them. Any of them. Wouldn't surprise me if they lost to all of them. So.
Right. Group E, and this is Milan's group. We're just talking to them. Chelsea top the group. Milan second. Salzburg third. We're going to Europa. And then Dinamo Zagreb came bottom, even though Zagreb beat Chelsea in their first game. Are we giving, obviously Chelsea have topped the group, are we giving them credit for bouncing back? Because obviously they lost to Zagreb in their first game. Or is it a case where they've just done what we expected them to go out to do? So no, real praise there.
That was a surprise, the Zagreb game. I expected Chelsea to win that, but Zagreb were brilliant for most of that game. They recovered well, but if not for maybe who's in their group, I mean, Salzburg, I think they clapped them twice. Milan, the game with where Tomori got sent off for that nonsense on the Mount. I don't know what he was thinking.
No, that was never a sending off. Tomori, that was not a sending off.
It's just unfortunate, but yeah, I mean, Chelsea they did what we did, what Liverpool did. Shock first defeat, but recover. Make sure you finish strongly. I didn't think they'd finish the top of the group. I thought Milan would. I only thought Milan would.
Well, I give Chelsea credit because after the setback from the first game, to come back on top of the group, you have to give them credit for that. And unlike Spurs, I could be wrong, but unlike Spurs, I think Chelsea got another gear to them. I think we're yet to see the real Chelsea. Obviously, with Graham Potter taking over and stuff, I think they've got another gear to them. Whereas I think Tottenham, this is Tottenham. What we're seeing is Spurs. So, and Chelsea, they're always difficult to beat in Europe. Especially when it comes to the knockout, they always find a way to get it done. So, I think Chelsea fans can be fairly optimistic. I'm not sure who they can face in the next round, but I think they should be fairly happy with how the group's gone anyway. Top in the group's always a good thing anyway. So I think there's another gear to come. So yeah, not too bad.
Cool. But Milan, obviously that's your Italian club, D. Last season, you can say clearly, and it worked in the end, Pioli was targeting the league, and they won the league, obviously. I actually thought that they might mess up qualifying from this group, and I thought Salzburg might have been able to sneak in with Chelsea. What can we expect from Milan? Can we expect another edition in January and they go for it both, or is it just clearly they've made their point getting through their group and they're going to go for both, go for the league and the Champions League?
Well, they've shown progression because, like I said, last season was a bit of, years out of the Champions League to come back in was a bit of a baptism fire learning experience. So, and like I said, they were concentrating on the league alone. So, I think the fact that they've gone through now, I think they will probably try to add one or two to the squad and go for both, because they've got the experience of winning the league now, so they don't have to get that done. Although they're up against an exceptional Napoli side, but then the Champions League. Listen, even if you put Man City in it, I don't think there's any outstanding teams that you can say they're nailed on to win the Champions League. So I think they could be confident of giving most teams a good game. And if you get a favourable draw in the next round, then you're on your way. So I think Milan could surprise a couple of people. I think they could. They've got the quality there. I think. Yeah, I'm actually quite optimistic about how they'll do. Giroud just don't stop banging in goals. I see Van Dijk said he's the toughest opponent he's faced. No matter who he plays for, he always seems to get the better of him. So I will agree with that. So yeah, it's not looking too bad. It's not looking too bad.
So Chelsea could face Bruges, a lot like that's similar to Tottenham. Bruges, Inter, AC, Leipzig, Dortmund, or Paris Saint-Germain. So yeah, it's similar, very similar to Tottenham's one.
Okay.
In regards to that, right. So let's go to the next group, which is Group F. Real Madrid topped the group. Leipzig finished only a point behind them. Shakhtar third, drop out. Celtic came bottom, but at least Celtic got 2 points compared to Rangers. But Celtic was an interesting one because they played. When they played away at Shakhtar, the thing about Celtic, they have not got the defenders to carry out the football they want to play, because they played really, really good attacking football away at Shakhtar, etc. They did well against Leipzig to start the game, and then obviously they got put away. But at least they got their points, some points here, and their goal difference is not looking as shameful as Rangers is. Though they've topped the group, did Real Madrid have more problems than you expected?
Yeah, well, I say yes, but they obviously Casemiro's not there no more, so they've got Tchouaméni and they've got Valverde. They've got they're more used to their team now, innit? So you could see that would probably affect them a little bit. I just never Real Madrid. They just obviously listen. They had a great campaign last year. I just think you look at Real Madrid, you think they can be got at. They can be got at. Benzema's not firing like he was pre-Ballon d'Or. They're relying on Vinny and Valverde, really, and Rodrigo. But this is Real Madrid, and they just do what they need to do to get through the group stage, and then they kind of kick into gear afterwards. So is it that much of a surprise? Not really. So, from their perspective, they got the job done. No panic stations. I think they'll just get better as the season goes on. So, yeah.
Let's bring Chad in. Let's get Goliath in there. Evening, sir.
Hello, sir.
Real Madrid, Leipzig qualifying from Group F. You're a Bundesliga head. What can Leipzig? Timo Werner's injury that's just bad luck. They done his ankle ligaments in. I don't think they've given the full diagnosis in regards to how long he'll be out for, but he's definitely missing the World Cup though. Do they have enough? Forsberg, Andre Silva, when the knockout stages come back in February, could they make some noise like they did a couple of years ago?
Anything's possible if they get anyone half decent, especially with Werner are missing. If they have anything half decent that they come up against, I think they're going to struggle big time. I think they're going to struggle. They're one of those teams that they need to be at full strength, especially if they're playing someone that's much better than them. They're not doing too bad in the Bundesliga. And that's still kind of early days, but I think they're one of those teams where they need to be at full strength in order to be able to surprise people, so to speak, especially against the bigger teams as the competition goes on.
Let's have a look here, Chad. They could face in the last 16 Napoli, Porto, Tottenham, Chelsea, Man City, or Benfica.
They're finished.
Forget it.
Benfica, listen,
are a very dangerous team.
Yeah. So for me, you've got to have Leipzig as one of the weaker teams out of all of the ones that you just mentioned.
So no chance of them getting to the quarters.
I don't see it.
Sammy, have you got more belief?
No, not at all. I mean, again, it's going to sound a bit harsh, but Leipzig did well just to make up the numbers. And I saw the game against Shakhtar. I thought Shakhtar would actually do something for national pride with regards to what's going on in Ukraine. But Leipzig were too strong. As for the next round, I don't give them any hope, I don't. They've done well to get to where they've gotten, where they are, but that's the end of the road for me.
This is open to everyone. I'll be looking at Real Madrid winning this tournament again.
Nah.
I know D, and I could tell from what D said earlier, he's not convinced so far this season. But even if they don't look like they're with it, they just find a way. Last year, everyone was like, I say this year, but obviously last season rather. Every round, Madrid are rubbish. Everyone that was facing it, like, they're gonna knock them out. Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, and they just find a way. I don't know what it is.
Listen,
maybe
if they find a way to retain this thing again, the rest of Europe should be shocked, bro. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. They weren't lucky last year. Don't get me wrong. They were a quality team, but that's not a team you look at and think they can retain it, man. I'm sorry. Even if they get to the final, fair enough. But someone's got to beat them, man. Someone's got to beat them. I don't see it. I think it's a time for another team to win it, man. It's time for another team to win it. So we'll see.
I know they're clear favourites now, City.
Yeah.
And I know people think in Europe, not so much. But with them having the missing component that they didn't have last year in signing Haaland, he's a cheat code. I think they can do damage in Europe as well. They're going to walk the league this year. That's a given, I'm sorry. And I actually think that they've got just a stronger chance in Europe. Like, what strong teams are there now?
All right. But if they face Liverpool again over 2 legs, what happens?
If what?
But they've got to block it. They are pound for pound, man for man, they are better than Liverpool. But every time they go to Anfield, especially at the European night, you don't fancy them.
I think it's different this season, B. I think it's different this season.
But that's what I was going to say in regards to City was the fact, could it be, now you've got Haaland there, the cheat code there, would it be a case of Pep overthinking again? Because though everyone's out there, he might go into a 2-leg game and they might have a 2-1 lead like they did against Real like a few years ago, and then he could decide to play De Bruyne deeper than expected, and then something could happen.
Anything can happen over one game, we know that, but I think going through the motions this season with you guys struggling, I don't think that's going to be limited to just the Premier League. Like, I never had any doubts that you could get through your group stages, but I think if you come up against not necessarily bigger teams from other countries, I think you'll turn up for that. But I don't know. I just feel different about City this season in having Haaland. I just can't look past them this season.
Or we might play no DM like the Champions League final against Chelsea. He's his own worst enemy, mate. He's his own worst enemy. Right. Let's go to Group H. And sorry, Group G. Goodness, look at me jumping the gun. City and Dortmund qualified. Sevilla dropping. I was very disappointed with Sevilla, by the way. Through this, they've not been very good in the Liga either to start out the season. City won the group, we expected that, but I know some people thought that Sevilla. I'm sure if we was at the season, I'm sure D said Man City and Sevilla would qualify for this group because he said Dortmund and Fraudman, and then
they are fraud.
they
are fraud, but Sevilla are just trash. Spanish football's in the bin at the moment, bro. Just Real Madrid gone through. Like it's some nonsense. But you know what? I'm glad for Jude Bellingham in it that they've gone through with it, like that Dortmund have gone through. But make no mistake, they're gonna fold in the next round. Whoever they play, they're gonna fold. Like they're not that team. But there's no surprise City top the group.
Rude.
You know, I think the game before last when they drew the game when Gomez got sent off? Someone got sent off. I forgot it was 0-0 whatever, and they didn't play Haaland. But then shout out to what's his name? Is it Rico Lewis, the youngest?
Yeah. That was a good finish, man.
Very good finish. Again, they've gone through the motions in the group, which you expected them to top anyway. They will get better as the campaign goes on. If Haaland stays fit, like Clive said, I think they could go far. I think they will win it. But I don't think it'll be as straightforward as a lot of people think. But Dortmund, I just think there's still two quarterfinals at best for them, to be fair. I don't know who they can face, but
they've got who can Dortmund wait. Let me get Dortmund. Dortmund can face Napoli, Porto, Tottenham, Chelsea, Real Madrid, or Benfica.
So they better hope for they better hope for Tottenham, or who's what you said for Tottenham?
Tottenham will beat Dortmund.
Huh?
Tottenham will beat Dortmund.
No, they won't.
This is coming from me. Tottenham beat Dortmund.
Tottenham ain't beating Dortmund, bro. They're not. Tottenham ain't beating Dortmund. Yeah.
And Stubbs, we're skipping the next group, yeah?
If anyone doesn't know, obviously in Italy, Milani's D-Man's team, Inter's my team, but Goliath's team, Chad's team is Juventus, and they've been stinking up Serie A, and they stunk this up as well. Everyone had Paris Saint-Germain and Juventus. Yeah, you better hide. Everyone had Paris Saint-Germain and Juventus going through in Group H. Juventus came third with 3 points. Three points out of 18.
Why is Allegri still in a job?
I was going to say that.
They fought tooth and nail to get him back, so he's probably on. Maybe it's a compensation issue or something there. Juventus in the league and whatnot. Anyone that's put them in the accumulator this season, my condolences. Absolute trash.
Europa is looking lit.
I'll be hyper.
What is it? Because Prince Damala's gone? Is that it?
That waste of space.
These man,
you see how Roma are moving?
Wash. Yeah, Roma just beat Ludogorets in Europa. Has in this, but Betis have still won that group, haven't they? But
Did
yeah,
Arsenal win their group? Did Arsenal win their group?
They beat Zurich 1-0.
Just about. You should have seen how much trouble they had in Etiquette. That's why I kind of said, ooh, bare chances. But I'm like, Arsenal, come on, man. You got a decent team out there. But good God,
didn't even watch the game.
We say,
I didn't even watch the game.
Watch it. Your blood pressure would have been on a mad one. But Zurich play some decent football. Not obviously defensively, but yeah, I'm like, head out there, the disallowed goal, offside and whatnot. It's like, oh, come on, goodness me. Right, but anyway, back to this. We digress. Benfica top in this group. Look at the players that Benfica have lost. Yeah, they lose a striker. Now it's Goncalo Ramos scoring goals for fun. But the thing about this group, what made it nuts, was that because of the way the results had gone, Benfica needed to win by 5 clear goals to top the group, and they got their goal right at the end, a long ranger from João Mario. It was absolute. This group was absolute madness, bruv. And then a little like melee, like little fight that broke out at the end and whatnot. But yeah, we had some. There were some decent finishes, you get, because we had less goals to get than them, but we couldn't do it obviously against Napoli. But yeah, Benfica Porto, I don't know how to do it. These people sell people all the time and still somehow remain competitive. So give the scouts credit, give the manager credit, but no one saw them top in this group. Some thought, yeah, I say some, no, not many. A few thought, yeah, maybe they could qualify PSG, but the majority were like PSG and Juventus for the fact they know Juventus have got Vlahovic, except the Bagsman. But to top the group, madness. So we obviously come second in our group and somehow managed to dodge PSG from those things as well. But nah, full credit to Benfica. I never saw this coming, man.
So I think you're gonna get PSG in the next round. Man City. Man City. Boy, you better work, man's afraid.
You're gonna be conflicted, bro.
Man City PSG final, man. I want to see a Man City PSG final. I need Messi to get to the final, and he Pep to get to the final. So I don't care who wins.
I heard earlier, if Messi only plays one of the 2 games before the World Cup for Paris Saint-Germain, which could likely happen, then the World Cup final will be his 1,000th game. So the scene is set. The scene is set. But anyway, back to champs. What the hell happened in this group, Sam?
Listen, I don't have any. I watched the PSG game, one of the earlier games, and I said to myself, as good as they look, yeah, you just know they're gonna fall, all right. And yeah, it looks better than it has done in previous seasons, and Messi is doing far better in what he's returning than he did last season. But there's something about them that it don't sit right with me. There's still like an individualistic kind of thing about PSG. You know, yes, Neymar and Mbappe, they'll work together, and Messi, they'll get all the goals, but there's something a bit individualistic about them still. They're when they're on it, and when they work together as a team, they'll destroy anybody. But I don't see that often enough.
No. They'll destroy anyone in France.
Destroy anybody?
In France. Yeah. But
that Farmers League.
This guy, but to be honest,
that league is a joke. Come on.
Use what?
No, it's a given that they win it every season. They're
unbeaten so far.
But Sam, it's not though, because Monaco and Lille have won recent titles, so it's not a given, is it? That they win it every season. I mean, but I have to disagree with you, Sammy, because I actually think that they're more of, bar some antics from Mbappe, I think they look more together season. And it's just a liberty take that you've added Renato Sanchez, Carlos Soler, and Fabian Ruiz to your midfield. That was good already, and you've been able to let Paredes go to Juventus, and it doesn't look like it's making any lick of a difference.
Even gay as
Messi is just, I've run out of superlatives now, because people were cussing last season because of the lack of goals, but they weren't realising that he didn't play that many games and almost he is just and the pot, and that could be the difference, because they just have to not do any rashness at the back, because you know them. They've got, if any team left in this tournament has a self-destruct button, it's PSG. They could be 2-0 up against someone, and then there'll be one of their players will get fouled, and then the whole team want to fight, and then they just completely off, and then they go and lose. Right? The madness. But I just think Messi is on a mission, and if the rumours are true about Inter Miami and whatnot, and the contract negotiations are not going how they thought it would go, or there's even murmurs that he could end up back at Barca, right?
Listen,
if as we've said, there's no standout team clear. This could be the year that finally comes together.
Messi is winning the Champions League and he's winning the World Cup. And he's taking back the Ballon d'Or, bruv. And then
Put your money down.
To that.
Then he's gone. Yeah? He said he's not leaving PSG until he wins a major trophy, bruv. He's winning the Champions League. Yeah? If he don't, then City winning. But he's winning the Champions League and he's winning the World Cup. Yeah? And then no one is chatting to him. Not Maradona, not Pele.
It's a stinker.
Yeah? What? He means business, bro. What? It's amazing what a preseason can do for a man, isn't it? But
I just want to see who PSG get in the next round. That's all, and see how they go on from then. Because that's the aim for Messi, to win a Champions League with another club other than Barcelona. But let's just see first. PSG, it looks better this season. Yeah, okay, fair enough. But I just know them.
Mbappe's goal was lovely, by the way. But Chad, what are you saying on this?
They're gonna come up against someone half decent and they're gonna fold like origami, bruv.
Wow.
There's nothing any different this season to previous seasons, yeah.
All right, but other than Real Madrid and Man City, on paper, who do you think likely to beat them?
They will implode against anyone at any given time. Paper means nothing. Rock, paper, scissors, bruv. It doesn't matter.
Brother, they have individual brilliance. They have individual brilliance to beat anybody bar those two teams, I think.
In the last 16, they could meet Napoli, Porto, Bayern, Tottenham, Chelsea, Real Madrid, or Man City. Obviously, because they came second, it's not been kind to them because
they hope they avoid if they avoid Bayern, if they avoid City.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can feel confident they can take a result against all the others.
Think they can beat Chelsea?
Yeah.
Yes. I think they could beat Bayern. I've watched really every Bayern game this season. I'm not very convinced to be.
I just think they want to avoid them, but I think they could. Don't get me wrong. I think City is the only one where they can think. At Madrid, they can think.
Napoli?
Yeah.
You don't think?
No, they'll deal with Napoli.
You don't think? You don't think Pep will go? You don't think Pep might do a mad one and trying to take Messi out over competition?
Oh no.
Have you watched Napoli this season? Have you watched Napoli this season?
Napoli on form are the best team in Europe. No one's close.
The second half of the season, you're going to see so many surprises. Watch the second half of the season. Man, I'm not going to leave.
Actually, D-Man is on something because I Napoli do. What was it? We was talking about Dubs a few weeks ago about how that as I tipped Napoli for Serie A, he said nah. They dropped off like they're going to drop off like they did last season. And someone else said that in January, they tend to do that as well.
Sam.
That's Spalletti in general. Spalletti's been at clubs before and gone on mad. I'm sure he had one at Roma, mad winning streaks. Last season, they won their first 10 or 11 league games and they faded away. But now, Kvitschka this season, the goals in the 6, as long as they keep Osherman fit, Napoli are a threat and people need to take them seriously. I mean, I'd love to watch them play PSG. That would be a shootout, man. Love it. And that's them doing that, losing Koulibaly, who was meant to be the Lord and Saviour. So you have to give credit to these teams, whether it be Benfica or whatever, all these teams that are losing players and they're still remaining competitive, But it's what it is. Where the hell is Chad gone? Right. Where are you walking to, bruv?
This man's going to his dark room.
Man looks like he's doing the Crystal Maze, bruv. Right. So that's all the groups. What notes or whatever, what do you not have to add in regards to what you have seen? And if you had to pick a winner right now, who would you? We've kind of slightly touched on it, but if you had to decisively pick one team who you think are going to do it, who are you going with?
There's no outstanding teams. I mean, I think it's going to be very exciting, especially with the World Cup coming, injuries and fatigue and that for the second half of the season. I think it's hard to call. Obviously, City are favourites, but City are favourites every year and they've never won a competition. So that's just a nonsense. But I don't know. It's the team. I don't think discount Spurs. Spurs ain't winning it. Yeah. So if you look at the English team, Spurs ain't winning it. I doubt Chelsea win it. You can say Liverpool always got something about it, so you can't discount them, and you can't discount
Heritage.
Yeah,
Football
but you
heritage.
can't discount City because of the quality that they have, and they've got the missing piece. So, of the English teams, I'd have to say probably City. You have to put. I don't think Bayern are winning it. Bayern, they're just too up and down at the moment. I think they'll be found out later on in the competition. I think it's between City. I never really rate PSG to go there, but I'm going to put PSG in there. You can't discount Madrid. I think those three teams, if they don't face each other on the way, whatever, but I think those three teams are probably the top three, I'd say, to win it. And then if I had a surprise package, Benfica.
Benfica, okay.
Yeah.
Chad, what you saying?
I think Bayern. I think for me, I think City are favourites. I think City are favourites now that they've got Haaland. For me, it's either City or Bayern. I know Bayern ain't doing particularly well. Excuse me, in the Bundesliga at the moment. But for me, I can't look past City. I'm not going to discount Bayern. Madrid, as D says, latter stages, they always seem to find their form and turn up. I'm not taking and never will take PSG seriously. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I don't care who they've got in their ranks. I don't care how well Messi's playing. As soon as they come up against someone half decent in Europe, yeah, it's over for them. It's a wrap.
Right, I'm gonna.
Even if they do have that French board member up front.
Oh wow! Wow!
Correcto.
Wow! I'm never look because of the fact that the league season is looking a wrap, but we'll see what we can do. I'm telling you, you better laugh, Sam, because you know what I'm gonna say. I don't think you can count. You can count Liverpool out. It's one of them. It's one of them ones where, if maybe they met PSG later on in the competition, if they leave the gaps that they've left, someone could come Anfield and ball 3 or 4 in Anfield, right? But if they're on it and tactically are astute, it's just the magical European. That's just their football heritage, man. But if you want who I definitely think could do it, I just want to, because I know no one else will, that's why I wanted to mention Liverpool. As I said, PSG before, I still think Man City will do something dumb, you know. So I'm going to say, reluctantly, I'm going to say PSG. But it's going to be interesting. Obviously, we can revisit this when the knockout stages are about to start. Not even after the draw, but the knockout stages are about to start. We can revisit it after the World Cup and then look and see if anyone's done any business in January or whatever. But yeah, I think it could be PSG because there's no outstanding team, but also as well, just like I'm saying, football heritage, Liverpool, don't be surprised if in the second half of the season Benzema goes nuts. Rodrigo's been scoring anyway. Vinicius has stepped up in the last about 12, 15 months, and he's been amazing. Real Madrid just always find a way. So yeah, don't be surprised if those are some of the teams you're going to be seeing in the semi-final. Yeah.
Vinicius is looking crazy.
Crazy, because I always from when he come, we saw Vinicius could beat players with ease, but I wanted end product, and now he's come with that in abundance, like easily one of the best in the world at the moment. It's just savage play with so much confidence, you get me? Because I actually still prefer Rodrigo, but Vinicius is getting more minutes as big, because from when they first come up, I think Rodrigo was better in front of goal, but the way Vinicius has stepped up, it's brilliant, man, and they're just building. Even if they don't do it this season, especially if they were to get Bellingham, but just looking scary for the future, man. They're just phasing people out slowly. Casemiro already gone. Modric looks like he can play till 45 and still do a thing. Like, what made me laugh, and we didn't address it in the group, last bit I'll say is that when they played Celtic, Madrid, in the first half, the gas, because they were so loud at Celtic. You see, as soon as that second half stepped up, Modric said, no. And some of the football they played, and the Madrid won 3-0. That's what we're talking about moving up another gear. As I say, some teams don't have that. That's the thing with Real. Last year, we thought every minute, they're going out. And then I just don't know what it is. And you can't even say it's the crowd at the Bernabeu because there was barely anyone in it because they're refurbishing it. There's just something there. Ancelotti probably told them he's going to kill them or something like that. There's something there, and then you just come through and they get it done. So yeah, those will be my teams. Sammy, who you saying?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with D-Man with regards to Manchester City. I think they are the favourites, especially with that Terminator up front.
Mm,
Damon Targaryen, whatever. I mean, it's just made them stronger. Can't discount Madrid as well. I think they just find a way. This is their competition. They just know what they're about in the Champions League, and they've won it enough times as well. I'm always going to back us. I'm always going to back Liverpool. Granted, the league form hasn't been fantastic, but Champions League we just come alive.
How does it feel to be below Newcastle, by the way?
Oh wow! This isn't the Premier League podcast. Don't answer. Don't worry, Sam. Don't worry, Sam. Don't worry, Sam. Call your lawyer. Yeah. You didn't agree to answer any Premier League questions. Yeah, I'm saying. I mean, I have no idea why Goliath is taking screenshots.
Oh god! I'll answer that on Saturday.
Right. So we will leave it there for episode 23. Little quick Champions League review. Socials, guys. Plug.
Boy, my socials at ilphenomenal25. Phenomenal with an F. If you can't spell it, you can't follow me. So, yeah, that's me.
At Big Sam A79 on Twitter, on Insta. Sam the man who can. That's it.
Yeah. The TikTok and the Twitter at D&D Footy Factory _. My own personal Twitter is Flex in the City.
What's your Insta?
Nah.
So yeah, you heard Goliath with that.
Away days Arsenal.
If you listen to this on SoundCloud, then our YouTube is D&D Footy Factory. If you're watching this on the YouTube, then you can catch any audio from any previous podcast and all our radio shows every week on our SoundCloud. That's D&D Football Factory on SoundCloud. We are on Castbox, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify under the Shoot the Defense media network as well. But if you just type in D&D Footy Factory into Spotify anyway, then all the episodes will come up on Spotify as well. My personal handle is at double D, that's DUBULDEE, and the squad, our 2 pages on Twitter, we've got at DD Footy Factory _ on Twitter. The main page and the podcast page as well is D&D Footy Pod. So yeah, get to following. And that's it for episode 23. Thank you very much for listening, people. We out.